Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, John Herold, and hope you all had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday, and it is a Monday-ish Monday. I'm like tired. I don't know. Maybe I didn't sleep well. I don't know what's going on, but I'm blaming it on Monday. But anyway, the weekend was a weird one. The whole last week was a weird one with the whole MTG Donald Trump thing, and everybody's been talking about it. Everybody has their opinion on it. We talked about it Saturday. I don't know how much more time I'm going to spend on it. Rebel Nader. So I wonder what John is going to doom out about today. That's a good question. What do you want me to doom out about? You know, I'm super black-pilled right now, so as I'm accused of being. So I can really doom out about anything. Very versatile in my dooming ability. Eleanor 2000, are there any normal weeks anymore? No, there are not. That is a wonderful, wonderful point. There's really not. The Epstein file stuff, we can talk a little bit about that. Trump has reversed course, and there's some stories having to do with that. Some economic stuff, some tariff stuff, some Comey stuff, Mike Pompeo, some True Social things. Got the whole gambit today. So we'll just run through it all, see what happens. We'll start though with a quick word from our sponsors. But is there anything else in the chat that you guys want me to see? John, I sent Badlands a check a month ago that hasn't been cashed. Did you get it? I haven't been to my PO box in some time. Maybe I'll try to get over there today. Tiny boy. It's good to see so many co-founders in the chat. Yeah, it is good to see everybody. Doom out on NPR and Real Clear Politics calling you guys. Real Clear Politics called us out too? I didn't see that. I saw NPR. We talked about that Saturday. Saw Media Matters. Did not see the Real Clear Politics, if that's a real one. Pick a Psyop, any Psyop. I've also noticed over the weekend, I had some just random posts. Fourth Psyop group, that's one we can cover too. Fourth Psyop group, they started a podcast, which is notable. I mean, how is that not notable? We've been talking about the Fourth Psyop group, and I'm just trying to find my post here on it. So I can show you guys this real quick before we do the sponsors. We've been talking about the Fourth Psyop group for a long time. Like, I wrote an entire article about the Fourth Psyop group in this Ghost in the Machine video. This movement, community, whatever, has been talking about the Fourth Psyop group and like decoding their stuff for a long time, right? And they started a podcast. I haven't watched it yet. It was Phil Scarborough, who's in our chat right now, who pointed this out to me. But they legit started a podcast. I heard there might be some DI stuff. Some people saying it's management stuff. Eventually, I'll probably watch it, but I don't know. But anyway, it was weird to see how many people like came into the comments of this post and were like, "Oh, that's nothing burger." Think for yourself, like all these, like, why would they do this? I wasn't trying to like analyze that. I was literally just pointing out that they started a podcast because it's notable. This is weird how many people were like, I don't know, butthurt over that. I don't get it. There's some weird stuff going on in the truther community. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's crawled up everybody's ass, but whatever. I'm just too stupid to understand. I think that's the main point. That's what I was kind of told. I don't know how to think, but whatever. But yeah, they started a podcast. If you guys got some time, check it out. If anyone is looking for Badlands clips, Media Matters is there to help. They have clips of us? No way. Yes. Look at that. That's crazy. Appreciate it. Did they blurred out?
I think it's also true.
I thought they blurred out my my Patel Patriot handle on Twitter. Like right there, it looks like it's blurred out. You see that? But when you play the video, it's not.
I think it's also true that, to your point.
Okay, never mind. I was up in arms over nothing. As I always am, right? Anyway, let's get a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll start picking away at the news. First up, we got some Goldco. You wouldn't wait to buy fire insurance when your house is already on fire, right? So why wait to help protect your money? I'm sure you're aware, but things are looking pretty dicey out there. With the economy, global tensions, domestic tensions, AI, you name it. Are you surprised that gold just hit another record high and the price of silver is surging? Are people finally waking up to reality? This is why we've partnered with the award-winning company in Goldco. They can help you safeguard your savings with precious metals, and they make the process incredibly easy. So if you're ready to help protect everything you've worked hard for, go to badlandsgold.com. You'll get Goldco's free 2025 gold and silver kit, and you can qualify for up to 10% in free bonus silver. Seriously, the best offer out there. Hands down, visit badlandsgold.com or click the link in the video description. One more time, that's badlandsgold.com. Two butt cheeks protecting same asshole, CN Stewart, yeah. Another one, Spetzel. What is Media Matters doing? Is this a different clip? And it is. CanCon was all crazy. Weird timing. Like, why are they, we have thousands? I wonder why they're, like, going after us right now. It's a good negative indicator, I suppose. But shout out to, Media Matters. That's, I think Mike Rothschild, isn't he over with these guys? Or is he still at the Daily Dot? Let's see what happens here. Let's see if this is an article by him. No. I know he's quoted by them quite a bit. Anyway, F Mike Rothschild. But okay, let's start plugging away at some of the stuff. There's still no update on the Doge website. I don't know what happened. They forgot about government efficiency and saving us money. So they just don't update it anymore. They clearly don't watch my show anymore either, because I've been complaining about this for a while. Ash 1776, I'm fascinated by the timing. The world isn't ready for my theories, though. I feel like there's a few people on Badlands who the world is not ready for the theories of. Heather Jones, they are jealous of your smooth algorithms. G-Back Bag BC, was this the night BB had speaking problems? Yes. It is very rare that I'm the one having the least amount of speaking problems on a show. But yeah, that was the night Burning Bright could not say anything correctly. He was on some drugs. We don't know what yet. We'll wait for the drug test to come through. You know the old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity. That is correct. Anyway, Doge, if you're watching, I'd appreciate you guys updating your website and telling me how much money you're not going to send me, but you're saving me somehow. That'd be great. There's also no update on the presidential website. Very few executive orders. For a president who issued 100 or so executive orders, like right off the bat, he sure has slowed down on the number of executive orders he's been issuing. Spetzel, the clips are all on the back end, not front facing. Yeah, it makes sense that Media Matters likes putting things on their back end. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Trump has reversed his stance on the Epstein records, and he presses the Republicans to support release. So Media Matters, whatever I'm about to say here, you can use this for your next article. Let's see what the article says first. U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday called on Republicans in Congress to vote to release files related to deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, a sharp reversal from previous resistance within his inner circle. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, Trump said in a lengthy post. Oh, I think I have that post right here in a Zero Hedge article. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our very recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein. are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc., and the relationship to Epstein. And the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability, where we are winning big, our victory on reducing inflation from the highest levels in history to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investments in America, a record, the rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone, and so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive. And if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. I do agree with that. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. So, everybody's laughing at Gator Rob, soft disclosure on your back end. What? Yes, sir. Softdisclosure.com. I did not watch the Joe Rogan Elon Musk interview, Heather Jones, but thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, hit that thumbs up, guys. I'd appreciate it. So I don't even know what to say about the Epstein stuff that I haven't already said. Like this whole thing. Okay, we could look at it the 4D chess angle, which a lot of people like to look at it as. You know, it's like, oh, he baited them, and now they're going to get him, and it's only going to expose the Democrats. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see if that actually happens. Or it also could be that it isn't what we thought it was from the beginning. They're going to come out with whatever they're going to come out with, and it's still not going to satisfy people. And people are going to be calling for the Epstein files 50 years from now. We just don't know. And because we don't know what's in the Epstein files, it's kind of wild how everybody's like all up in arms about it. What part of the files do you think is a hoax that Trump is calling it, says 12 Indie Boy? It's a good question, Ty. I mean, I don't know for sure, but as I've said before, when he calls other things a hoax, it's typically a intelligence community narrative setting hoax, like Russiagate. They fabricated a whole bunch of evidence. They worked with the media, colluded with the media, outlets such as maybe Media Matters, for example. Actually, I don't know if they were directly, they definitely wrote a lot of stories, I'm sure, about it. But anyway, they work with the media, the intelligence community, and the Democrats, and they fabricate this narrative. It's the wrap-up smear, the pap-up smear. And that's the hoax. It was never true to begin with, but they create this lore around the story, and they use it to delegitimize Trump or a group of people or whatever. And I think that's what they're doing here. I don't know for sure because I've never seen the files. None of us has. Chris made a good point on Saturday. It's like first it was the flight logs, then it was the black book, and now it's the files. Like what's it going to be next? We just don't know. We don't know. It could be 5D chess. It could be 60 chess. It could be 42 double D chess. I don't know. I'm just sick of it. Because to me, the whole thing is a distraction. The entire Epstein saga is a distraction. And what it's distraction, maybe Trump is telling us what it's distracting us from. Like the actual success is everybody's getting bogged down by this like call for transparency in the Epstein stuff, which he kind of already gave us, didn't he? Pam Bondi had it on her desk or whatever. We got the binders. That was sure transparent. Kash Patel went on Joe Rogan and told us that, like, hey, there's nothing there. And then they released like the memo or it got leaked and everybody's freaking out like, oh, there's nothing there. At least not what you guys thought it was. And then we had Pam Bondi and Trump like asked the DOJ to release the grand jury files. All those judges said we were not doing that. It's like, what else is there? What are we missing? And it's kind of crazy to me that we're getting another investigation. And if like to me that's not a good thing. To me, that's a stalling tactic of sorts. And guys, I totally understand. Like this, I'm on one of my streams of consciousness or whatever. I'm just talking, and I'm definitely not always right about everything, and I definitely could be wrong here. Totally possible. But being realistic, here's my doomer take for all you guys who like to call me a black pillar. But just being realistic about every single investigation that we've been like excited about forever, we haven't like had a single one come through and be what we wanted it to be. Not once yet. Maybe that Grand Rico case. That's the one I have my eye on. If there's any of them, it's that one. But here Trump has tapped Bondi, and Bondi has tapped SDNY attorney to lead new federal inquiry into the Epstein ties. Attorney General Pam Bondi said Friday she has directed prosecutors in New York to lead a new federal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's connections to high-profile figures. An announcement made shortly after President Trump publicly urged her to launch the probe. Bondi shared a screenshot of the president's request and wrote, "Thank you, Mr. President," before confirming that SDNY U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton would take charge of the inquiry. She added that the department would pursue the matter with urgency and integrity to deliver answers to the American people. So, like, my honest question is, if they're doing this now, why didn't they do it before? Like, where was this before? Everybody's probably more pissed about this before. So why this time? Why now? And why are we expecting a different result from this investigation than previously? And then to the people who think this is all, as Keith O'Higgins says, 60 million D chess, which again, it could be. I'm just being the devil's advocate, which I know some people don't like people being, but somebody has to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Being the devil's advocate. And I don't remember the point I was making. Okay. If this is all like 65 D chess and we believe that like there's all this stuff's been going on behind the scenes, because there is some merit to some of those things with some cases. I don't necessarily know if it's this one, but a lot of people who put their eggs into this specific basket think that they've known about it the whole time. Like, why are we continuing to wait to do this if we already know? Like, what hasn't been investigated that we need a new investigation for? John needs a Snickers. He gets grumpy when he's hungry. I didn't call you a black pill or negative Nancy, maybe, but trust your own research. I wasn't talking about you, Richard Rohr. I think you just outed yourself as one who did call me a black pillar. I'm just saying generally, people call me black pillar when I play devil's advocate or try to be a voice of reason, sometimes even when I'm wrong. I think it's important to examine all sides of the mostly fake news stories that we get. But if somebody has an answer as to why now and what we're expecting new to come from this, and what happens when, let's just hypothetically say they investigate this, whatever they're going to investigate now, or surrounding the Epstein stuff, and they don't get anything new or anything that feeds the confirmation bias that a lot of people think is in the Epstein files. What happens then? I'll tell you what I think happens is half of Twitter and all the people that are trying to hijack MAGA and divide us and sabotage Trump's agenda, they are going to say that Trump is participating in a cover-up. Like, I personally wish they just rip the Band-Aid off and whatever, if there's more to release it, just get it all out there. If it doesn't make people happy, fine, so be it. Let's move on. That's where I'm at. Reminder to have Peter Tickton back on the show. That is a good reminder. I agree, Shire Reeve. I also believe I'm far from a black pill. I agree with you. I saw a post. Who was that? Or a comment. Epstein files are hurting MAGA and Trump. They're only hurting us. If they're hurting us, they're only hurting us because we're letting it. Also a reminder, and something Chris Paul also says all the time, and mainly one of the reasons he's not even on Twitter anymore, is that Twitter's not real life. What we see on social media and everybody freaking out about stuff does not translate to the people that you come across every day on the street. My text group of buddies that I hang out with, golf, like friends from here at home, none of them talk about the Epstein files. None of them care. I mean, that's not to say people don't care about pedophilia. Like, people want people who commit pedophilia to go to jail. Like, that's a crime. People should go to jail for doing that stuff. I'm not saying we don't care about the crime. We're saying, like, the Epstein files is not something that they're like sitting there waiting or like not voting for Trump on. Trump never campaigned on the Epstein files on putting those out. Razor Sharp says, my sister and I are not speaking. She votes straight Democrat and has no idea what she's voting for. She even voted for Jay Jones of Virginia. That's kind of crazy. John, if you're wrong again, you'll get the hose again. Epstein is a divide mega op, and it will fail. If there's anything in the file that linked to Trump, they would have released it in October 2016. 100%. 100%. Every time I tune in, you are crying. I haven't cried once. I'm just speaking my mind. But thank you for tuning in. We're all just sick of all this. Yes. Someone left to yell at me about the Epstein files. What did they yell about? Bravest, no one I know is on X. Well, you know me. I met you in person. So I know you now. So I'm on X. But yeah, most of my buddies aren't on X. And if they are, they're like, they were like what I was back in 2018, 2019, 2020, like following sports and stuff. Richard Rohr, Trump has done more to stop child and human trafficking than anyone else in history. 100% right. And yet it's not enough to satisfy people because that information is not in the Epstein files. Anyway, let's see what happens with this this investigation and how quickly it goes. I'm not going to hold my breath. Not because I don't want to see justice. I'm not on this particular rug. I'm a little bit on the Grand Rico rug, which I don't think we have anything new on. Let me double check that. We do have a Comey story we can discuss real quick. If I can find it here. There we go. Judge orders DOJ to release grand jury records to Comey after finding possible misconduct. What? Whoa. A federal magistrate judge has directed the Justice Department to turn over grand jury materials to former FBI Director James Comey, citing potential government misconduct by the prosecutor who handled the presentation. Judge William Fitzpatrick said Comey's due process rights outweigh traditional grand jury secrecy, ordering the disclosures by Monday after identifying what he described as a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps. Ash says Grand Rico is not a rug. So that's the thing about rugs. You don't know whether it's a real rug until it's pulled out from under you. There's been many times where we've sat on some cozy shag rugs because we thought they weren't rugs. And then as soon as they were pulled out, we're like, oh shit, that was a rug. Dang it, swear jar. So you say that with much conviction, Ash, and I want to agree with you. That's the rug I'm on, but we don't know. We do not know. The Grand Rico Grand Rug, yes. Guardian Angela, people who are on X, but I know people who are on X, but 3 that I know very well aren't too active on there. Yeah. Like if you like, there's a few different people on X. Maybe this will make sense. There's the people who are like really trying hard to be influencers, right? Like the breaking news and like decode salad stuff. Like they want the clicks, they want the likes, maybe they want the money. I don't know what motivates them. There's those people. There are those people who are on there because they feel like they have to for their job, and that's kind of where I feel like I fit in. Like I go in spurts. Like sometimes I'm feeling like, oh, I'm going to be really engaged on Twitter today and post some things, and then some days like I'm not even going to open my Twitter app. Like I'm only going to open it to share my show that I have, and that's it. There are days like that. There's people who are on there because they believe that's the best source of information. Well, that's true. I don't know. But they like want to be emotionally manipulated. And then there's people who believe they're engaging, like they're making a difference in the info war. And I feel like I fit in that category a little bit too, because I think there is some level of info war that takes place on Twitter or X, formerly Twitter. And I feel like some of the stuff we do is is necessary. But I also get the point of view that Chris has, where it's like it's a joke, and maybe we don't really reach new people. We don't know how much of it is real, how much of it is bots. I don't know. But I know for a large majority of people, they don't tune into Twitter. Instagram maybe more. I wonder what the actual numbers of users are, like Twitter versus Instagram versus Facebook. Used to be text, now it's mostly video. I get my news from Twitter sources. John Solomon types all in one place. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a good place to like collate your news. And is that the right? Did I use that word correctly? Collate your news. Anyway, are you not feeling so fresh today, John? I feel fresh. I just feel a little tired. X is good for searching videos too. Yeah, it's also a good place for me to like keep track of the things, because I do like their search function. Now Telegram is really good too. And at one of the GARTs a while ago, I talked about how I have my own Twitter channel where when I'm researching, like that's where I put everything I find. I go into this one Twitter thing with a keyword, and then I'll be able to search it later and find it. Twitter's pretty good about it too. Aggregate, that's a better word. Collate means separate. Well, I could be doing that too. Yeah. So anyway, Comey was pleaded not guilty to false statements and obstruction charges tied to 2020 congressional testimony about FBI leaks is set for trial on January 5th. Although Fitzpatrick did not name the prosecutor in his ruling, another federal judge confirmed last week that interim U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan was the only lawyer to present evidence to the grand jury. So is Halligan in trouble here? Fitzpatrick noted that the sole prosecutor made at least two fundamental misstatements of the law while answering jurors' questions. According to the ruling, one remark implied Comey lacked a Fifth Amendment right to decline to testify at trial, potentially suggesting to jurors that he, not the government, bore the burden of proof. Another comment clearly suggested that jurors could assume prosecutors possessed additional, stronger evidence beyond what was in the record. Fitzpatrick also flagged concerns with the indictment itself. This is like, if this is true, it's a news story, who knows? But that would be unfortunate. Could you imagine if like the one big name indictment we get, and it's not even like to satisfy the punishment that we feel this guy deserves, Comey, but the one indictment we get of him lying to Congress, he gets let out on because the prosecutor did something like this. I mean, talk about people getting upset. That'd be funny. Ooh, okay, yeah, Ash. Ash is texting me last night. She's like, we should do well, you already said it, so this isn't a spoiler because you already spoiled in the chat. She said we should do a grand jury, like a mock grand jury trial thing at GART. I think that's a really interesting idea. I don't know how we pull it off, but I said, hey, you want to do it? You go for it. And I'm totally down. And I love this idea. We get like some of the attendees to be grand jurors or whatever, however, I don't know how it works, but we're going to do it. And we are in the process of scheduling our spring GART sometime in March. Will you select the jurors? Yeah, I think we should. Yes, go ahead. And we talked about this in Drake's chat last night, and CanCon is in 2. We're already moving it forward. Heck yes. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be fun. But anyway, yeah, so Comey, if he gets let out on technicality, I think some more people will be upset. The people demanding justice, which we should be demanding justice and accountability and all those sorts of things, because we certainly have not been getting it. And if he gets let out on the technicality from the already technicality he's like barely getting justice on in terms of lying to Congress, then man, oh man. Anyway, Mike Pompeo has been added to the advisory board of a Ukrainian arms maker. Ukrainian weapons manufacturer Firepoint has created a new advisory board and named former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo as its first member. A step executives say is meant to strengthen governance as the company faces an anti-corruption probe into alleged inflated pricing. Leadership said the board was launched on November 12th to ensure the firm is following the clearest and best corporate standards while expanding internationally. I'm going to skip down to here. Executives noted increasing Western engagement, pointing to a recent visit from U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, who toured one of the Firepoint's factories during meetings with several Ukrainian defense technology firms. I mean, just not great optics, I would say, for the America First movement, the MAGA movement, which one and the same. The whole taking off the MAGA hat, putting on the America First hat thing is gay. But anyway, not the best optics for Mike Pompeo. UK HSA faces accusations of withholding data on COVID vaccine and excess deaths. The UK Health Security Agency is under renewed scrutiny after declining to release, oh man, I hate this word, anonymized, I nailed it, records that map COVID vaccination dates to subsequent deaths, prompting allegations of a cover-up from critics who say the information is essential to evaluating excess mortality since 2020. So somebody here is saying that they think a health agency, like a government health agency, is potentially covering up COVID shenanigans. And that is just shocking. They would never do that. And I personally think this is slanderous. I think you should trust anything and everything the government says, especially British government. And I hope whoever wrote this article and is scrutinizing these people sees the justice they deserve. This is terrible. And for those who don't, that was heavy sarcasm. Heavy. Shouldn't have to clarify it, but whatever. Fulton County judge drops 3 charges in Georgia 2020 election case. I remember this guy, Scott McAfee. He ordered prosecutors to dismiss 3 specific counts from the Georgia 2020 election interference case, which names President Trump and several allies as defendants. I cannot believe that case is still going on. Like, how the pace at which the justice system moves is ridiculous. And this is like, I'm talking from my own firsthand experience right now with the BS that I'm having to deal with in my personal life and partially professional life. The pace at which it goes and the shenanigans that people can like get up to in the legal system and get away with. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, McAfee instructed Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council Executive Director Peter Skandalakis, now overseeing the case, to drop 14, 15, or counts 14, 15, and 27. These counts involve conspiracy, criminal attempt to file false documents, and filing false documents. Trump is specifically charged in counts 15 and 27, but 32 charges remain, including racketeering. Challenges to the remaining charges based on the U.S. Constitution Supremacy Clause were rejected by the judge. The case brought by Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis in 2023 originally charged Trump and 18 co-defendants over efforts to overturn Georgia's 2020 election results. And the funniest thing about all this is if we do ever get justice over the 2020 election, like get the diamonds returned, what does it mean for all this stuff? They talk about a waste. How much money has been wasted, lost? How much time has been invested because of the 2020 elections? Like, not just like Trump should have been president and then thinking of all like the deals he could have made. And I mean, there's just so much. Is it opportunity cost? Is that what they call it? I don't remember what the phrase is. If it was a Tuesday, I would remember what the word is that I'm thinking of, but it's a Monday, so I just can't remember. Very impatient for justice, as we all are. It just is. That's our justice. All for 10 years and $500 million, but who's counting? I feel like it's way more than that. Yeah, opportunity cost. So I was kind of thinking the right word is stuff we couldn't do because we were doing this. Yeah. And then the actual cost of this stuff, it's insane what our country's been put through. And that's why so many of us are like wanting justice and accountability of some form. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful as everybody is, that we'll get it. And it's coming because we're told it's coming. But as I always say, we've been told that for a long time and haven't seen it yet. So Forgive me for being a little antsy in my pantsy. Call sign Cujo, guys who fix tennis rackets, racketeers. I do believe that is what their job is called. Yeah, opportunity cost is an economic term referring to losses incurred from taking a certain action. The bunny, it's so much more. Think of all the damages of the lies of COVID mandates and the cost of all that. Yeah. Again, why we want some form of justice. Ash 7076, are you ready for the big event? The big event is a rook too. It's all perception. Then again, you're a millionaire. That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm not talking about my opportunity cost. I don't have that. I just have opportunity and money. It's just rolling, flying in. Yeah, that's a good point there, Marguerite Carlin. The opportunity cost for me is the things I could be doing while I'm sitting here just counting my money all day. That's my opportunity cost. Think of how much more money I could be making while I'm sitting here counting my money. It's just sad. Heather Jones, we're going to need a much larger walkway for all the perp walks. Yeah, hope so. I already talked about that story. Oh, this was interesting. So the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank did like a study and they published it. And the reason I think it's interesting is San Francisco, like liberal central, communist central, other than maybe New York now. But they did a study on like how tariff changes affect inflation. And they debunked the popular narrative that higher tariffs raise inflation that the mainstream media has been trying to push and like criticize Trump for. A study spanning 150 years of tariff changes across 3 major Western economies show that higher tariffs consistently lower inflation and raise unemployment, directly contradicting longstanding economic orthodoxy. Like, so why has this been economic orthodoxy? They studied 150 years. What were people doing 125 years ago studying this? Couldn't they have studied the previous 25 years? And then like 100 years ago, could they have not studied the previous, like so on and so forth? To see that they've just been lying about this entire thing and it's just been a globalist construct the entire time. A fake news globalist construct. And, you know, to the people like, oh, it's going to raise unemployment. That sucks. That doesn't really concern me all that much because of the deportations we're told are happening and some of the onboarding of domestic manufacturing and so forth. Although there are legitimate concerns, the one place, you know, I don't see people or Trump losing his support because of, and I'm talking from the normies. I don't see Trump losing his support from the Epstein stuff and like that dividing maker, or like him saying mean things about Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massey marrying his new wife too soon. That's not going to affect Trump's support. That is Trump. That, like, he got elected on that. I could show you a video of Ted Cruz announced, or he's laying the groundwork, we're told, Axios said, for a 2028 presidential bid. So I went out there and posted some throwback clips of Trump engaging with Ted Cruz in the 2016 primary. Like, Trump was an asshole, and we loved it. We needed it. We still need it. He was highly frictional, like Badlands aims to be. And that's okay. Like, he's not going to lose support from saying mean things. If anything, it's going to help him. People like that shit. Damn. 2 curse words. I'm trying to be mindful of my swearing. But anyway, the stuff that he could potentially actually lose support for is the economic stuff. I've been saying for a long time now that the economic stuff is what affects everybody. It's the personal bank account. Doesn't matter how many times you tell me that I'm a trillionaire. If I'm only a billionaire in reality, I'm not going to believe you because I can look at my bank account and I can see that I'm a billionaire. So stop telling me I'm a trillionaire, guys. I'm not. I'm just a billionaire. But you know what I mean? Like, if Trump or anybody in the administration is like, things are really good with the administration and the economy, it's never been better, never been hotter, all these things, and you're sitting there struggling to buy gas, do you know how much it costs to fuel my jet these days? It's crazy. It's crazy. That's the stuff that he could lose support on. And there's legitimate concerns about some of the comments he made. And I'm saying, again, from the normie perspective, this is not what I think. The normie perspective, like the comments he makes, and when the mainstream media runs on these stories of like, oh, Trump said we do need H-1B visas, and we will let these 600,000 Chinese people stay here. Those are the things, those are the narratives that can be weaponized successfully, I think, against Trump. Long term, I don't care about the midterms because our elections are fake. I don't care about 2028 right now because our elections are fake. So in that regard, doesn't matter. But I'm talking about actual mandate and support. That's the economic stuff is where Trump is, I don't want to say vulnerable. Well, maybe that's the best word for it. Potentially vulnerable. But I also see on the flip side of things, the moves he is making, if they are actually moves that he's making, like these tariff deals, these investments from other countries, the onboarding of domestic manufacturing and some of the switch theory stuff, all those vulnerabilities will be alleviated. It won't be a concern. Like long-term things will be fine. But if there's anywhere he is vulnerable, it's with that. Breaking. John Herold admits to being a billionaire. Not a trillionaire, though. Yeah, guys, I should start a GoFundMe. Maggie, that's a great idea. I'm going to be starting a GoFundMe for my jet fuel, for my plane. Because it's just, the costs are getting just so out of control. And I've even talked about like my yacht that I have. It's winter, so I don't use it as much. But that fuel's not cheap either. Plus, like the staff I have on both the plane and the yacht to like run things. Not a trillionaire yet. Yeah. Things keep up though. Shouldn't be long. I want to be the world's, what's after trillionaire? Is there even a word for it? Quadrillionaire? Is that it? Or can I just, when I become the first, whatever heir it is after trillion, I feel like I should get to make up what that word is. And we're going to have a fun time thinking that up. It's not winter in the southern hemisphere. I do have a couple, estates down in the southern hemisphere. I just typically don't visit them very often. Thought Zach had a yacht. No, we started a fund for Zach's yacht, but he doesn't have it yet. I could just give him one of mine, but as you've been told, I don't share with anybody. Anyway, let's keep rolling here. But yeah, the study's out here. I'll post this in the chat. I read through it. It's crazy. Not crazy at all. Actually, that we've been lied to for a long time. It's not surprising. Let's talk about this story though. Marco Rubio wants to imprison you on terror charges for supporting Nazi punchers. Let's see if I can get behind the paywall here because I do not want to give them my email. All right. And the reason I want to show this story is because it has to do with NSPM 7. Viktor Orban's government launched a continent-wide manhunt when a group of European anti-fascists attacked a neo-Nazi rally 3 years ago. Orban, though, showed no such appetite for cracking down on the annual fascist rally, which this February drew attendees sporting SS patches, swastikas, and the Totenkopf death's head symbol, all under the watchful eye of Hungarian police. Whoa, Babbage. That is a big rant. $253. Thank you so much. Is that a typo? I mean, I really appreciate that. And you sent a link, so we're going to look at that. Oh my gosh, this is great. I can already see. From Donald J. Trump on True Social. With news coming out that the sizable sexy swear jar is officially up to $253 as of Friday, 11/14, I asked John the Herold, host of my favorite NPR adjacent podcast, if we should shut it down. He said, "Sir, the American people shouldn't have to endure another shutdown." Good man, John. Meanwhile, Jerome Too Late Powell is screwing us on the rates. Mega. That is hysterical. Babbage, thank you so much. Holy shit. That is so funny. She there's been a few of those that she's had over the years. Just the memes are just fantastic. But this is real, guys. This is real. This is not fake news. This is a real Donald J. Trump post. Don't be deceived. He watches my show and he supports the swear jar. But for real, thank you guys. Thank you for your support. As much as I like to joke about being a trillionaire, I'm actually not, and I am really appreciative when you guys support the show. Anyway, back to this. The aggressive response to anti-fascist activists compared to the kid gloves treatment of neo-Nazi demonstrators has roiled European politics for years. On Thursday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio joined the fray, inserting the U.S. into the debate by declaring the anti-fascist group that attacked the 2023 rally a terrorist organization. Though the designation is aimed at foreign groups, Rubio said that he was acting in accordance with President Donald Trump's National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, or NSPM 7, regarding purported domestic terrorists. The terror designation will cut off the small Antifa Ost group and 3 others designated by Rubio on Thursday from raising funds in the U.S. It could also imperil American anti-fascist groups with civil and criminal allegations of material support for terrorism, a civil rights lawyer warned. So a couple things, like NSPMs, love these things. If you've been following me for a while, you know how I like to geek out over the NSPMs. We still don't know what number 6 is, still classified. When Trump first came out with his declaring Antifa domestic terror group or whatever, I was like, cool, but this is a kind of a nothing burger. It doesn't actually do anything. There's no teeth to it. The teeth for it came in the form of NSPM 7. This is where we got actual, like, we're going to go after the funds. This is what we're going to do. We're not just like calling them a domestic terror group. We're actually going to do something about it. Okay. We were also told that they were going to be declaring, they're going to be declaring Antifa a foreign terrorist organization. We haven't seen that come through yet. That was a story that came out last week. I wonder if this is what they're referring to. Now, I don't know how much Americans are actually funding these terror groups, Antifa terrorist groups in Turkey or whatever. Is it that prevalent? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like USAID and our own government are. I mean, there's probably some NGOs. They likely are more connected than we know. We like to believe that all these groups are connected and there's funding that intermingles all over the world. We don't know that for sure, though. We haven't actually technically seen any proof of that. There's one George Soros story that came out and they're investigating him. Maybe we will see evidence of it eventually, but we haven't actually seen the meat and potatoes from that particular situation. So this is interesting. But back to the story. Where'd I put it? Yeah, I mean, is there anything else I really want to even talk about? The headline's kind of funny. He wants to imprison you on terror charges for supporting Nazi punchers. Yeah, we'll see how many U.S. allies they have. That's what I am curious about. Trump has been on a rampage sharing a whole bunch of old responses from September 27th. And this is what he's responding, these posts in response to. And you guys know how much I love this story. I've talked about it many times on the show. The story that there were 274 FBI agents in the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax. He is referring to the story that came out from The Blaze, and The Blaze misrepresented what that story was about. Those 274 agents in the report they cited were not in the crowd. They were not plainclothed agents. They were people who responded to the J6 incident anytime on J6. Now, I'm not saying that there weren't FBI agents embedded in the crowd. And the amount of times Trump has like referred back to the story makes me even more confident in saying there likely were. We all know that was a false flag. It was not Trump supporters who, the whole thing was a hoax. Okay. I'm not saying that's not true because I believe that to be true. What I'm saying is he keeps referring to the story, and I think that's funny because that story does not say what his posts say. The report of 274 agents, and I'm not going to go back and pull it back up again because we've done this before. This is not doing it again. But anyway, he keeps referring to the story. And there's been this whole weird, like, I know we talked about it, but there's a small subset of the Twitter community that is fighting over the J6 bomber. Like Kyle Seraphin and Julie Kelly continue to scissor on Twitter over the J6 pipe bomb thing. And it's so weird to me. Like, what are you guys doing? There's just these weird conflicts. But yeah, the story of us knowing who the J6 pipe bomber is now because video matched his gate, I can't get behind that story. I do believe we know who it is and have known who it is for a long time, but I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's that person. If it is, if it is that person, whatever that lesbian soccer player that they picked out, if it's actually her, and they actually found her because of the way she walked, and they matched it to the camera, I don't know what I'm going to do. My swear jar fund is going to skyrocket. That is just not believable. So if that's actually her, they didn't find her because of her gait. They found her because of something else. Anyway, Ramon222, DPH was good last week. Thank you. We had a couple good DPHs. I feel like every DPH is good though. Phil Scarborough, I don't care about the J6 Vibe Bomber. And we're corrected to pipe. You know what? I think we should call it the Vibe Bomber from now on. The bombs never went off. Like, that's so funny. Like, the bombs weren't real bombs. And if they were real bombs, they didn't work. So whoever made them was not a real bomb artist or whatever, bomb maker. So it's a red herring. Maybe that's not the right way to describe it. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what else. They got a clip here he shared on True Social. He shared Carly Bone, which is awesome.
The staff said, do your Privacy Act review and get out these documents. Well, they didn't do the Privacy Act review. They did the Mar-a-Lago raid. That was the whole point of the Mar-a-Lago raid, was to get back Crossfire Hurricane. And that's what led to the 3 years of the lawfare against President Trump after he left office. 4 indictments for non-crimes. January 6th was part of that, where these Democrats and even some Republicans were trying to use January 6th to try to get rid of MAGA more broadly.
Okay.
I mean, nothing really new. It's notable that he reshared it, but nothing we didn't already really know. We have this he shared, Scott Besson talking.
The real thing that is going to happen that is going to give Americans real purchasing power increases. You know, it's going to be through growth. We passed the one big, beautiful bill. I am also the IRS commissioner, and I can see that working Americans, thanks to the president living up to his campaign promises, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. If you buy an American car, there are going to be substantial refunds in the first quarter of 26. Working Americans will change their withholdings, and they will get a bump up in their real incomes. So I would expect in the first 2 quarters, we are going to see the inflation curve bend down and the real income curve substantially accelerate. And when those 2 lines cross, Americans are going to feel it. But Maria, I will tell you what we're not going to do. What we're not going to do is tell the American people that they don't know how they're feeling, which is what the Biden administration did. You know, they said it was a vibe session. You don't know how good you have it. And we are working every day to get these prices down.
Ooh, Ash says she wants to fight. Ash says, John, we have to discuss this J6 thing on OnlyLands this week. Let's fight. I don't know what we're fighting about, but I am so down. Because I'm talking about that report, and I'm not wrong about that report. So if you want to find me about something that I know I'm right about, those are my favorite fights, is the ones I know I'm right. So let's do it. I thought this was funny, though. Besson, he's like describing some sort of economic graph to us with his hands, and like, when these two lines meet, we're gonna be feeling real good. Things will be great. So just wait for that. I think it's okay. Whatever you say, Besson. I am waiting for that. Hopefully it is quarter 1, quarter 2. Vrooman says, I'm so glad I paid 22% interest on my Social Security for 3 years. Me too. Somebody said there's another hit piece from The Brief, the LAist. The most important stories for you to know today, guys. Reaction to Epstein files. Right-wing media largely ignore latest document dumps. I think this is just a copy from whatever. Yeah, this is the copy from the NPR article. Nothing burgers. I agree. I know Ash is a pit bull, but I'm not afraid of her sometimes. I'm not afraid of her when I know I'm right. So tune in Friday. You can watch me and Ash fight about J6 or something. Shire Reeve, I don't trust Besson, but I don't not like him. You shouldn't trust anybody. But I have the same sentiment as you. He seems, for one of those gays, he's pretty cool. Can't relate to his lifestyle choices, but he's pretty smart. Seems pretty based, other than the gay thing, you know. I thought this headline from CNN was kind of funny. Trump's Epstein files capitulation betrays a rare weakness. Jeffrey Epstein files saga is far from over. That's the problem, guys. I think Trump wanted this to be over, rip the Band-Aid off. They tried to, wasn't good enough. And here we are. Even after the president, Donald Trump, suddenly reversed himself Sunday night and told Republicans to vote no for releasing him. The problem with the Epstein thing, and not to go back to it, I don't want to rip a Band-Aid off because I already talked about it, but when it comes to any of these narrative stuff, whether it actually affects Trump's base or not, like whether there's a person out there who exists who actually voted for Trump because of the Epstein files, even though he never campaigned on it, makes no sense. But if that person exists, stories like these continuing over and over and over again, and people drumming up all this drama around the Epstein files, they will be able to use those stories to get away with stealing elections. That's all the media does. They are looking for stories that they can use as a reason to justify the results of their elections that are fake and fraudulent. So until we get real elections, it's kind of hard for us to expect to ever get real news either. Those two things to me like go hand in hand, especially when it comes to politics anyway. We're never not going to have fake news. People are going to lie. It's eventually going to be up to us to like, okay, I'm going to choose not to believe the lies anymore. And that's another thing. Trump even there's a comment. I know I'm kind of going to run over to right now, but now that my Monday is halfway over, I'm in a spicy mood and I want to show you guys something. Let me find this clip. I might have to save it. I don't know who posted it or who created it or if it's on Twitter. Okay, it's from Disclose TV. Hold for processing. And it's a Trump clip having to do with Tucker and Fuentes. Okay, why don't you listen to this?
Carlson recently had a friendly interview with anti-Semite Nick Fuentes. Tucker Carlson. What role do you think Tucker Carlson should play in the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews. I did an interview with him. We had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him. Will you let me finish my sentence? You are the worst. You're with Bloomberg, right? You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you. We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
What he said right there at the end. Ultimately, people have to decide. He's absolutely right. But that is a situation it does not exist. That reality, or it's not, I guess it's not reality. That is currently a pipe dream. Like, think of the new media, think of any of this stuff. Algorithms on social media. We only see what we're allowed to see. There is no actual free speech. The closest platform we have to it, as far as I'm aware, is Rumble. Like, we've never been censored by them. And maybe I'm just being biased because we have such a good relationship. We've been using for so long, and they feature us sometimes, and they're good to us. But maybe there are even people on Rumble who don't feel. I don't know. But he's right. It's ultimately up to the people to decide. And that's all I've been demanding when it comes to media and news and any of this stuff, is a level playing field. I'm not asking for much. Just put us all on the same playing field and allow us the same access as everybody else. Because if you do that, eventually the people will decide, and they will gravitate towards the things that are true, or at least map on to reality as close as possible. I don't even know. Sometimes it's hard to even know what truth is anymore. That's what's so crazy about today's world. So much is fake that it's hard to even know what's true anymore. So it's, I don't even know if the goal of like finding truth is possible. I mean, you can really only be truthful about the things that you are, that you represent, that you experience. And people will gravitate towards that naturally. But most people don't even have the opportunity. Most newcomers to Badlands, like new people who watch us, I would say a majority of them come to us through word of mouth, like old school. Like friends telling friends, like, hey, you should watch this. Or they get exposure of us on some other, like a lot of, how many people found me because of X22? That's very common. I was doing my own shows then. Well, not many. I can't remember if I had started my podcast by then or my show by then. Either way, it's very rare that like people just stumble across us on Rumble. Maybe not, but Rumble's user base is not what YouTube's is. You're never going to stumble across us on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or any of these other places, on the news, at the White House. We don't have the same access. But it is ultimately up to the people to decide. And I hope when Trump says that, you know, he knows. I would love to see some form of action items to get us to there. Anyway. Media Matters features Badlands sometimes. That's true. That's true. Are we even here? Is this even real? I don't know. It's for you to decide. I did have more, but we're already over. And I got rants to read and another ad to read. So we're gonna start wrapping up a little bit. So the rants, so you guys were awfully generous and active today with the rants. I appreciate that. Abe Denigo 17 says, great work, John, as always. Thank you. Lee Walden, John, I'm still curious. Is Devil still in play? If not, why not? Are you investigating any as monumental? This is the question I personally go back and forth on. I don't know for sure. I'm not going to ever claim to know. It comes back to that 13961 executive order. Like that was the most important executive order for devolution being implemented, in my opinion. And then Biden comes out and partially revokes it. We haven't had our update on that yet. It's been over 200. It's probably close to 275 days now. Trump ordered a review of our national resilience strategy. And Marco Rubio, who is the acting NSA guy, is supposed to have put that out within 90 days, and he hasn't. So it's hard to know. I'm looking forward to that coming out because I think it'll provide some context, and I'd be able to better answer that question. But I don't know. There are some things I see where it's like, maybe it's over. And there's some things I see where it's like, maybe we are still in some form of continuity government. I don't know. But I do believe with all my heart that we were in some form of continuity government when Biden was in office. There's way too much that checked out from that. Way too much circumstantial evidence. But you don't have to agree with me. That's fine. Keith Higgins, John, it's 6 million D chess. Everybody's up in arms. Get up in legs with X scissors. Yeah, that was funny. If you missed Saturday's episode of the DPH, you missed a good one. Chris was on fire as always. I felt like I was just there. I was there too. Chris was on fire. I was there too. And we came up with this. And Ash helped too. Ash is the one who did the graphic for the X. But this was so good. Because all Twitter is these days is just Twitter scissoring. People fighting over stuff. People yelling about stuff. People breaking news. People telling you what to think. The people who are like preaching, think for yourselves, guys. don't trust anyone or question everything and everyone are now like, yeah, except for, these people. Don't question these people. A lot of hypocrisy. So it's funny. It's Twitter scissoring. And we have a logo for it now. Coming to a shirt near you soon. Because if there's one more thing I need, it's another lawsuit. But I don't shy away from a good joke. And that's a good joke. Herold Patriot says, thanks for the for the show as always. Happy to be a supporter. Appreciate you. Lee Walden, I for one can vouch how the judicial system can only drag their feet, also be stuck and jammed up in the system. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Yeah. Q Awakening, if Real Burning Bright is the driving horse of Badlandia, would that make Media Matters the horse multiplier? That's fantastic. I need to take a screenshot of that. Share it with my people. Love it. Babbage 3 with that $253 rant. Again, thank you so much. And I hope that wasn't a typo because I do not do refunds. Just kidding. But kind of not. Update from Trump on True Social. And then, again, that meme. I'm going to post that in the chat for everybody again. Then we got, hold on. I got to get back to that screen. Thank you so much, Babbage. And then Keith Higgins again. If the J6 pipe bomber is a lesbian, John, it's not a red herring. It's a red snapper. Oh, you're funny. All right. I think with that, I'm going to send you guys over to Ychrome's here shortly. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. I will be back on Basis tonight. I do got to play the Soft Disclosure ad. By the way, guys, our deodorant, Soft Disclosure deodorant, is pretty freaking awesome. I've been using it since we came out with it. I love it. But yesterday, my girlfriend noticed. So after a long day of basically catering to my every need, cleaning the house, cooking, menstruating, whatever it is that women do, typically you can get pretty stinky. But the new deodorant, like yesterday, she didn't put a deodorant on all day. And at the end of the day, she's like, hey, you need to smell my armpit. And I was like, no, gross. But she made me smell it, and I did. And I couldn't smell anything. Like, literally not smell anything after. She didn't even have the deodorant on. That's what I'm saying. Like, using the deodorant made her feminine body or whatever go away. And that's crazy. That is not, like, this is not medical advice. I don't know, whatever disclaimer I need to do. I can't guarantee that's going to happen for everybody. But it's kind of mind-blowing. The deodorant is awesome. We have a new scent out, and that's what she's been using. I don't remember what the scent is called. But go to softdisclosure.com. Check it out and watch us ad. Hit that thumbs up. I will see you guys tonight on Baseless Conspiracies. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. Where the hell is my Soft Disclosure ad? Here we go. See you, everybody.
Before skincare went synthetic, people used something simple, something real. Tallow. Grass-fed and finished beef tallow is packed with vitamins A, D, E, and K. Nutrients your skin actually knows what to do with. It locks in moisture, restores elasticity, and defends against winter dryness. No water, no preservatives, and no BS. Unlike plant oils or chemical creams, tallow mimics your skin's own structure. Elbows, hands, knees, post-shave, anywhere your skin's crying for real moisture. Perfect for gifting or keeping your own skin soft when the cold hits. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off. Ancient care, modern truth.
Soft Disclosure.
0. 1. Extra, read all about it. 2. 3. Let's get started.
That's real good.